What's up, everyone? Timothy I'm Jr. here in Mountain Asylum. Werewolves. Frank Grillo. I was excited. I love werewolves. Lycanthropy. I love it. It's like one of my favorite things in lores. The idea of werewolves. And it's just cool. It's just a cool concept. Which is, I think, most of us are in love with the idea. Um, I even wrote about it in one of my book. In my book, The Last Rhinoceros Rider, there's werewolves in here. My idea of werewolves, but it's still similar to a lycanthrope. But the thing is, this is a wolf man part of it, and not the shapeshifter into a wolf. Except mine more originates from tied to like witchery and things like that. But you can read that in this. The Last Rhinoceros Rider, Relics of Magic. You can order the big book, or you can order the entire series, 4-book series. This is targeted for like children's books. I do kind of make them, catered towards children than I did, and then I slapped a bigger one more for if an adult wants to read and they don't want to go through a book series, they can just read the entire thing. I also do have it in hardback as well. So if you are interested in the hardback version, I also do have that. So it's a smaller print to condense it down into a hardback because it is a bigger, longer book. Anyways, the werewolves in there are tied more to witches as to why they became werewolves. It's a different type of take on the lore of werewolves, but still I'm obsessed with werewolves. I love the idea. Same with zombies and alien. I'm into all that stuff. Anyways, Werewolves with Frank Grillo. Grillo. The dude is likable, but he plays the same character in every film. Like he just they should. I mean, he's like every other action star, right? Dwayne Johnson. Why can't I think today? Jason Statham. All these people play the same character in every movie. They just change their names. All these movies, they should just keep the same name and then have it like be sequels. You know what I mean? Might as well. You're not changing anything. You're not doing anything. It's like Dwayne Johnson in the Santa Claus movie, was playing an elf. He's the same person that he was in The Tooth Fairy and Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? He hasn't changed. He's the exact same person. Like Pain and Gain, remember that? That was a whole completely different type of character for him, and it was great. It was hilarious. Like when he's cooking the hands outside, and the cops like sitting there watching, and he's just frying them up on the grill. Classic. That was beautiful and well done. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, no way. Anyways, I was very disappointed in Werewolves. There was a lot of like dumb shit in the movie, like stupid shit, like the dumbest shit you can possibly think. Now, some spoilers here. Okay, I don't want to like spoil things for you, but you guys gotta understand, like, this is the idea I enjoyed. It's like, oh, the whole world has a genetic anomaly where if they're exposed to the moonlight, they will transition into a werewolf. Okay? They transition back into humans too. There are some people that were in relationships with people who have already transitioned into werewolves. Okay, now here's the thing. They're trying to find a cure for lycanthropy, to not have to transition into, and these aren't werewolves at this point. These are wolf men, wolf humans. Okay, these are people who turn into upright walking werewolves. These kind of werewolves, wolf humans. Not not human shaping into wolves, not shapeshifters. Now there's this one scene where this chick is shooting her ceiling because there's a werewolf on the roof. And guess what happened? You know. The moonlight was shining through the roof. Like, come on. Like, and okay, number one, why was she... This is a thing that happens all the time. Okay, werewolves happen all the time. There's this, what they call it, some kind of different moon. A certain phase where the moon comes closer. And so, now, this is a constant ongoing thing. And all people have to do is just stay inside. And then the ones who went out and transitioned, they're on the hunt and on the prowl, and they want to eat people or whatever. And now, here's where I'm like, this is so fucking retarded, right? So if you watch the film, none of these werewolves attack each other. They don't attack each other. They work together. Now, the cure is everybody goes outside and everybody turns into a werewolf. And then they're out prowling around, maybe killing a couple dogs or whatever they eat, some chickens. And then they all turn back into humans during the day and go about their day. There it is. Done. They solved the problem. And you're like, well, won't they kill well, no, not everybody's going to be eating chickens and dogs and stuff that the things hide. And there might be a couple casualties of werewolves fighting each other. But overall, if everybody is werewolves, then they're not hunting humans, and then humans aren't getting killed as often. It's a pretty simple complex. But they didn't think that far into the film. And if they did, they were like, no one's going to even notice that side of it. Nobody's going to pay attention to that. Nobody. I did. That's the whole thing. That was the only thing I was thinking about the entire time I was watching that film. And I was hoping they were going to address something like that. Like, oh, that didn't work because if everybody went outside, the werewolves would have just attacked each other and then there would have been more murder. But none of the werewolves did. And what I thought was even more fucking hilarious in here is, and it makes sense, but you don't ever see it in movies like that often. I think Alpha Dogs did it. I think, is that the name of that one? Alpha Dogs. Anyways, point is this one guy, he's loony bins, crazy. He's a war vet or whatever. And he was doing target practicing, but then he he had his bulletproof vest on, and it said werewolf killer, and then he also had face paint. But then when he transitions into a werewolf, his werewolf part of him had the face paint on his face and muzzle, and he was still wearing. I was like. I mean, sure. And then it would show a biker werewolf. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's not stuff you see generally in when they do these kinds of films. They don't keep those little aesthetics in the film. Most time, if I go and change into a werewolf, this shirt's getting ripped off of me, and I'm running around naked with my werewolf body. But or I got half part of this shirt still stuck to me, you know, something like that. You're not just wearing your leather jacket and it says like, you know, whatever your biker club is, um, or your bandana and your earrings, like stuff like that. They don't normally like focus on those things, and that to me that was kind of like I don't know. For some reason, I thought like Gremlins. You know, it just made me think of Gremlins during those times when it would show that. It was just like hilarious. I was just kind of laughing because I was like, "No, come on, no way." Um, so that was just what I got from it. Anyways, overall, the movie was just bad. Like it was a really bad movie, and I didn't even enjoy it. There was so much dumb shit that was happening that I was so yelling at the TV because who does that in something that's become a common thing? Common, like it's something that it's a new life thing that we now have to do, and so now you're doing dumb things that you wouldn't have done because that's how you get yourself into bad situations. So like everything you can do to get yourself into a shitty situation, you decide to do in this movie. It's just really, really, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't even know if they were thinking. I really wanted it to be more horror, like a lot more horror, and I was very disappointed with that side of it. It wasn't like there were some like intense moments, but it wasn't an overall like jump scare type film. I wanted to be more like, oh, like you don't see the like you kind of see the and he jumps out and he gets you and you're like, oh, and like or more, oh no, and there were like slight aspects of that, but everything that was happening in the film you saw coming. You were not surprised by anything in the film. It was just, if you knew it was going to happen, it happened. Like when you were like, this is what's going to happen, that's what happens. That's it. That's it. I don't recommend, I mean, watch it if you want to watch it, but I don't recommend that you waste your money on it. Price finally dropped like within a day. I think it was like it went from 10 to like $6. So I finally rented it on Fandango, also known as Vudu, and because I really wanted to watch it, I was super excited and stoked to see, you know, Wolfman, Werewolves. Those are my favorite. Like I was saying, but I'm not a real big fan of the humans turning into just regular wolves. Like they're just not as cool. Not Van Helsing type werewolves, you know. But anyways, I really wanted to have a cool horror movie, but this was more of just like more of an action type film all the way through. And that's what you got. Just basically just an action movie with werewolves. You didn't really get a whole lot of any kind of jump scare out of any of it. But anyways, it's definitely a 6 out of 10. That's your review. I'm Timothy Almeida Jr. And until next time,